Hello, Dinky Dana here. I'm going to be doing a review on the game called Demon's Souls for PlayStation 3. For some reason, this game was released in Asia and it wasn't released in the US. The Chinese version has almost perfect English dubs and subtitles, so I don't know why they didn't release it here, but I think that it had such good feedback in Asia that they decided to schedule a release for November 2009 in America. Demon's Souls is a very dark fantasy role-playing game. It takes place in the kingdom of Boletaria, where a giant beast has been awakened from slumber and it's unleashed soul-craving demons all over the kingdom. And you are the hero that's going to restore order to the world. You begin your adventure in the Nexus. It's a safe haven from the 5 worlds of Boletaria that are infested with demons. Each of the 5 pillars in the Nexus acts as a gateway to a separate world. This area is very similar to a village in a traditional RPG. The first NPC allows you to choose which skills you would like your character to have.
Thou seekest soul power, dost thou not? Then touch the demon inside me.
So in this game, you're seeking soul power, and as you defeat enemies, you're stealing their souls and becoming more powerful. So as you steal more souls, they act almost as experience, and you can purchase new skills for your character. I often prefer to be a mage in most RPGs. There are many other common NPC types that are found in typical role-playing games, such as merchants, blacksmiths, and NPCs who could teach you spells and abilities. And basically all of these require souls, so you have to balance out what you're going to use your souls for, whether you want to gain levels, buy items, repair your armor, or learn new spells and abilities. Even though you can choose 10 different character templates in Demon's Souls, the combat comes down to 2 different styles. The first is a warrior, and if you're a warrior, your character requires strength and endurance, and that basically allows you to wear heavier armor, use stronger weapons, and your melee attacks will do a lot more damage. The second type is a spellcaster, which means you can't build up your strength because you have to put your points into magery and willpower, so your armor is going to be a lot weaker and your melee attacks are going to be pretty weak. But if you're a mage, you're going to attack from a distance, so you don't have to be in close quarters combat nearly as much. Both types have their advantages and disadvantages. I would recommend at the beginning of the game, decide which style you would like your character to have, and choose those skills from the beginning of the game so that you don't waste them and regret it later on. That covers most of the mechanics of this game, so for the rest of the review, I'm going to go over my opinions of what I thought of it. The first thing that I'm going to say about this game is that it is extremely difficult. I haven't played a game that was this hard and required a lot of strategy in an RPG in a long time. As you progress through each area, you're defeating demons and collecting their souls. So whenever you die, your souls remain at the location of your death, and you have to start from the very beginning of the stage. So as you go back through, if you make it back to your corpse, you can click on it and collect all your souls. But if you die before you get back to it, you lose those souls completely. So this system creates a style of gameplay where you have to make it back to your corpse and then progress a little bit farther. So every time that you die, you slowly make it farther and farther, and eventually you make it through the game. It kind of reminded me of a lot of the old NES games and things like that, where you kind of had to memorize a couple patterns, and then after you started to memorize them, you could make it farther and farther into the stage until you could complete it. A lot of reviewers gave this game a low score because they thought it was too difficult. They thought a lot of people wouldn't like the game because it was too difficult and you would die too many times. However, for some reason, the game isn't nearly as frustrating as it sounds. Whenever you're playing it, even if you die a bunch of times, it's still satisfying because you make it a little bit farther in the level. So every time I was playing a stage and I would die and lose all of my souls, I would get mad. but then I could make it right back to that level, and I actually felt like I was learning how to play through the game. One thing that I really enjoyed about this game is how they incorporated online play. As I would play through a level, I would see a white outline of another character, and what that was is the remnants of another online player playing the same part as me, and it was pretty much their soul overlapping into my world. And also I could see messages on the ground or blood piles, and if I clicked on the blood pile, I would see the way that another online player had died at that location. Here I'm going to show a very unique co-op mode that Demon's Souls has. Pretty much, I'm being summoned into another player's world. They posted a message on the ground, and as I was playing through my stage, I could see that message and I decided to join in with them. So it summoned me into their world, and now I can help them out through the level, and hopefully they'll be able to finish it. Here I'm showing footage where a black phantom has broken into this world, and basically that means that they forced their way into this world without being invited, and they're able to come in and they're able to attack us, and if they kill us then they get all of our souls. So this pretty much forced us to stop progressing through the level, and we have to go back and defeat this person who's broken into our world. And this was a nice way for them to add PvP into the game without changing it into an MMORPG style. And you have the option of whether you want to enable online features or not. If you wanted to, you could unplug your PS3 and you could play through this whole game single player, not have to worry about someone coming into your world or using co-op. But if you wanted to, it's an option that you have available to you. The last thing that I'll mention about this game is how incredible the fantasy world is. Not only are the medieval environments beautiful, but so are the enemies that reside within them. You'll run into enemies like gargoyles and medusas, as well as giant knights the size of buildings and dragons. So if you're into dark fantasy games, you're definitely going to enjoy Demon's Souls. So those are some of the features that Demon's Souls has to offer. If you're a hardcore RPG fan, you definitely need to check this game out. I'm going to give this game a score of 9 out of 10. I'm Dinky Dana, and that's my review for Demon's Souls. Thanks for watching.